Okay. So my name is Haziq Ali. I want to welcome you guys to Millionaire-Minded Entrepreneurial Mindset Call, number 28. A lot of people always say millionaire mindset. The name of our team is Millionaire-Minded, and it's not my team, it's our team. The whole idea behind this team is that we are a collection of all the best teams in this whole company, and then all of the best entrepreneurs throughout the world of entrepreneurship. Our whole thing has nothing to do with any specific company. Our thing has nothing to do with any specific business opportunity. Our thing has to do with a specific way of looking at life. So I want to welcome all of you guys. I want to congratulate you. Man, shouts out to my man Dylan. Kiki Hamilton is always holding it down. I want to shout out everybody that's been putting people and tagging people on the Facebook page. If you guys don't already know, my name is Haziq Ali. You spell my name Haziq. My last name is Ali. Again, that's Haziq, and then my last name is Ali. That's how you get to my Instagram. That's how you get to my Facebook. And then email me if you want the Millionaire Minded Toolkit. A lot of you guys know that we have a toolkit that basically has my inbox full of people giving me thanks for the ranks. You know what I mean? The whole thing is that there are a lot of trainings out here. You want to know which trainings are designed to make you feel better versus make you do better. And what I'm really proud of about our resources and our toolkit is that it's designed to make sure you do better. And I got proof. You know what I mean? So I'll run through the different tools one time for those of you guys that don't know what tools that we have. But I'm going to list them in order, so you might want to jot these down. These can be the first notes that you write down. Okay, one is the Friday form. You ever had somebody tell you they're going to sign up on Friday or that they're going to purchase whatever you're selling on Friday or Thursday or when they get paid, and then when payday comes, they disappear, right? Like I call it Friday because if you know the movie Friday, they disappear like Smokey running from Big Worm, and that's how it goes. So what happens is you pull out this Friday form for either the person who's already signed up and they bought your product. This is how you keep in contact with your customers. Or you use it for the person who says they're going to sign up on Friday. Only difference between the two, only distinction, is that if they just now signed up, you run through all 7 questions. If you're just using it for a Friday form, all you use is question number 1 and question number 4. By the time you get through question number 1 and question number 4, you've got a really strong why. And then you've got 6 leads that when they don't answer your call on Friday, you can call those leads and then be like, man, I know you was just busy. That's why you didn't answer my call. But your auntie's ready to sign up. Your best friend is ready to go. So with that said, I bet you get a return call then because they was just scared. So sometimes as leaders, we got to take the lead. We talked about that the past couple of weeks, right? The first word in leader, the root word of leader is lead. That means if you're waiting on somebody to do it, you do it first. Don't wait on them to call their leads. You call them. All right, so that's the Friday form. The second one, the second tool of 7 is D3 and 3D. A whole lot of people are talking about how, man, I just now made D3. I'm trying to rank up. Yo, do it in 3 days. Now, my personal record with the Millionaire Minded Toolkit is that I got one of my team who has no network marketing experience to S3 in 4 days. Now, if I could get him to S3 in 4 days, I'm pretty sure we can get you D3 in 3 days. Or we can help your teammate get D3 in 3 days. But it all starts with that checklist, D3 and 3D. A lot of people have trainings that are designed to sell more trainings, or they're designed to sell you. This is designed to rank you up, right? The third tool is the home event invite script. Everyone on here knows, no matter what your profession is, you always keep the invitation separate from the presentation. You always keep the invitation separate from the presentation. You always keep the invitation separate from the presentation. So what is an invitation then, y'all? An invitation is anything that gets a person to a belly-to-belly, an event, an opportunity call, or a 3-way call. One more time. Belly-to-belly, which is your highest percentage closing rate. Event, which is second highest. Opportunity call, which is third, which is fourth highest, and three-way call, which is third highest. I know I said them out of order, but I'm only human. All right, so that's the home event invite script to get them to that home event. Or tool number 4 is an opportunity call invite script to get them onto that opportunity call. And then we've got the 5th tool, which is a blown lead invite script. How many people on your team are yellow? Y'all know we got this new reports tab where now you can see everybody who's clicked their auto pay off. You can see everybody who's gone kind of inactive. We've got a script so you can address those things. You address it with an apology. You address it with some empathy. And you see if you can't get one more shot now that you've got the millionaire-minded toolkit. And you've got a system to actually give them. They're going to cut back on. Me and my man, Mr., who incidentally is the guy that made F4 in 4 days, we spend a good amount of time every day lately just calling the people that have turned yellow. Because guess what? There are so many of them. We all have an attrition rate, right? Some of us have a higher attrition rate than others. But what we've all got in common is that they still got a why. And guess what? Their why hasn't been fulfilled by them quitting. So guess what? That means the why is still hanging around their neck like a 50-pound weight. Let's help them carry that with good leadership. So the blown lead invite script is both for people that have turned yellow in your organization, and it's also for people who you done messed up with because you ain't know what you was talking about. You was just so excited. Hey, man, I got this thing, man. You take the $99 and you know, it's software solutions for it. They was like, well, baby, that sounds good for you, baby. But I hope you ain't getting people too much money. You know, that's because you didn't sound like you knew what the heck you was talking about. So the blown lead invite script is going to help you recover that rebound for all my basketball fans out there. Tool number 6 is the who to approach / how to approach form. All of these are just one sheet pages, right? Well, on this one, on one sheet, it's talking about who to approach based on the color system. You know, there are 3 different colors. We're going to get to that in a minute as we get into the meat of the call, because one of our subjects today is how to capture a whale. And you know the whales, we call them the reds, right? So that's who to approach. But then we got how to approach, which divides it according to the 4 personality types, their weaknesses, and how you approach them. As you guys know, we got analyzers, empathizers, organizers, and socializers. They all have their own set of personalities. They all have things that turn them on or turn them off, depending upon how they see the world. Guess what? If you're talking to somebody that wants to save the planet, save the whales, they don't want to hear about you and all your big money dreams. You're going to turn them off. And then you ain't going to realize their eyes are glazed over. And you're going to be like, well, what happened? Don't people like money? It's not that they don't like money. It's just that ain't what drives them. And you need to be a student of the human condition so that you can have a personality that attracts abundance. I know I'm going fast, but it's recorded. Hey, all right. Tool number 7 is the push closing system. Because I don't know if you know, but half the time when you hang up with a 3-way call, they don't know what to do. They have no idea what to say next. And here's what's so tricky about that. It's on them to close them because they're the ones with the strong relationship with that person, right? So if you don't have a push closing system, which is similar to the PQS3 closing approach system. Now, why do I call these systems versus other things being script? Real simple reason. A script is built with a specific syntax, a specific tonality, and it's telling you what to say, when to say it, and how to say it. It's got words underlined. It's got words in all caps to let you know what to emphasize in a sentence. That's a script. Okay, that's completely different from a system. If you guys notice from the PQS3 system that we have for turning cold leads into teammates, it's a system. So in the video, you guys might hear me say, if money were no object, you ain't got to say that. If you want to say, hey, man, if you just hit the lotto tomorrow, what would you do? You can say that because the system is built around you having the proper intention for the conversation. Now, if you can pull out everything you need without using my wording, do that. That's why it's called a system. However, do not play with these scripts. With these scripts saying exactly the way they're written, that's how you're going to get maximum results. Okay, so those are the 7 tools. If you want to email me, HAZIQALI@gmail.com. But let's get into the call. We're going to talk about the traits of big sellers, y'all. Traits of big sellers. A lot of us understand that this is a leadership industry that's masquerading as a products and services industry. Why is that important? Why that's important is you need those 4 C's that we always talk about. You're going to need courage, first of all. You're going to need consistency. You're going to need culture, and you're going to need coachability. But the first of all of them is courage, because you got to have the courage to go after those big dogs. So we're going to talk about the traits of big sellers, according to a huge dog in the world of sales. We're also going to talk about 5 secret sales strategies from Steve Jobs. We're going to get into our book of the week. We're going to discuss 5 self-talk techniques. You know, one of the huge differences between the winners and the losers out here is that winners talk to themselves. Losers listen to themselves. Y'all will catch that in a minute. And then we're going to get into some Q&A. But first, y'all, let's kind of talk about why it's important that we be on this call. What is the whole purpose of this? This is conditioning, y'all. Who knows what conditioning is? I know a lot of the ladies on the line condition their hair. Does that have to happen once, ladies? A lot of the fellas out here work out. You get stronger after working out one time, fellas? So why do they call it physical conditioning? Why do they call it hair conditioning? All right, well, let's start with a simple question. What changes your whole life? What's the one thing that has to happen for you to change your life? It goes back to that old joke, right? You got 5 frogs sitting on the log, and 4 of them decided to jump. How many frogs are sitting on the log? Well, it's 5, because the decision ain't correct, right? Yeah, all 5 of them are still sitting there, because action is what changes your life. Action is what changes your life. So what stops you from taking action? Well, that's easy. It's fear. So then what is fear? Whenever I ask this in my trainings, everybody always says something like false evidence appearing real, right? But that's an acronym. That ain't a definition. What is fear? Fear is the anticipation of pain. Fear is the anticipation of pain. So you know how you get rid of fear? Action. It's crazy. What a cycle, right? So what changes your life is action. What stops it is fear. And how you get rid of fear is action. Well, then, how does conditioning play into that? Well, guys, have you ever been driving home, but you're in the car, you're talking to one of your friends, it's a good conversation, and all of a sudden, you take the exit like you're going to work, even though you were supposed to be going to somebody's house or something? Well, that's called conditioning. And here's the funny thing about when you're conditioning your body versus conditioning your mind. In the body, you have to lift weight until the muscle fails, meaning you snapped all of those nerves or you snapped all of those muscle tendons, and now they're going to rebuild and be even stronger. Matter of fact, same thing happens with a bone. If you break a leg, you break your arm, the bone grows back even stronger, right? Much harder to break the second time, correct? Well, with your mind, it works the exact opposite. With your mind, it grows and then breaks the old. With your body, it breaks the new, and then it grows the new. It grows the old into something stronger. Well, with your mind, you form new connections between something that we call neurons, which is just a big word for nerve cells, right? So these nerve cells form passages that are called neural paths. And I don't want to get too deep, but the whole way that you extend a neural path is you do the action. But here's the magic I want to share with you guys. There are 2 ways to supercharge this. One is if you attach pleasure to the new action. Now, instead of building 1 strand, you build 500 at a time, scientists say. And then the other way, the cemented, the reason that you always want to find yourself in what they call peak state, because peak state is pleasure. Guess what else is a peak state? Fear. So sometimes you've got to do the thing even when you don't feel like doing it. Now you're conditioning yourself. Now you're creating a habit. That's the secret, guys. So I really want to congratulate everybody for being on this call. It says a lot to yourself. A lot of things we're just doing for self-respect, because when you look in the mirror, you need to know you deserve your dream. So when you committed to being on this call and then you're here, guess what? Your self-esteem just moved up a couple of degrees. And self-esteem is the key to success. So then, what are some other keys to success, especially when you are a big seller? I'm about to give you guys 7 traits of big sellers. These were given to me by a guy named Tom Searcy. He has a sales company called Hunt Big Sales. Literally. All he does is consult with companies that want to turn that 80-20 law into something that's working for them because they want to put their 80% of time into the 20% of the people that give them the most effort, which would be the big dogs. So here are the 7 keys, the 7 traits of huge sellers. We're going to call this how to catch a whale, y'all. And as you know from the who to approach, how to approach form, whales are our whole focus. All right, key number 1. They always start at the, middle class and middle class and lower level salespeople. They start at the bottom and work themselves to the top because that's what they were taught. That's not what someone that's living in courage instead of fear chooses to do. That's not what a big seller does. What a big seller does is they start at the top and they stay there. What can you do to adjust your approach so that you begin to have the courage to start at the top and then just stay there? Well, let's look at trait number 2. They speak executive. Did you guys know you get sent to who you sound like? Talk to the owner of that restaurant if you want and sound like a buffoon. He's going to be like, I don't have time. There's one of my waitresses. Talk to him if you want like you ain't got no solution for some of the problems you predicted he would have. And he's going to divvy you up. He's going to pass you off because you aren't speaking in his language. You're not resonating with him. Your vibration is not what's hitting his chord. We all know that the unseen is much more powerful than the seen, right? We all know that if you strike a tuning fork, it's going to make just the piano wire that's attuned to that note start vibrating if that piano's in the same room. So if I strike the tuning fork for C flat, only the C flat wire in that keyboard in that piano is going to start vibrating without me even touching a piano key, right? Because vibrations are what rule the planet. Okay, well, you got to speak like who you want to meet with. All right, so trait number 3 is you got to challenge the big dogs. All the big sellers challenge the big dogs. You're not there to be no yes man. You're there to help him solve problems. So if he's functioning on an incorrect assumption, he's got something just plain wrong, he's using some old material, now's the time for you to bring that up to him and explain to him like, yeah, I know you probably was already getting 450 deductions, but do you understand how much your time is worth? Why are you running around writing down stuff with an odometer and a pad when you could be using this app? You got to challenge the big dog. Number 4, they translate. They translate, y'all. Big sellers always translate the complex into the simplified. Complexity is the enemy of speed. I hope everybody understands that. The confused mind does nothing, right? So then, what is your job? What are you bringing to the table? You should be bringing something to the table that's allowing them to customize, that's allowing you to customize the solutions you have and therefore add value to what it is they're doing. If you can get yourself to care more about more about the customer than you do the sale, you're going to outsell everybody out there. You're going to out-recruit everybody out there. You have to flip that switch in your head like you're caring about the person. You're caring about the experience, not the sale, not the numbers. Number 5, hunt the team, not the person. Warren Buffett has one of my favorite jokes ever. He talks about playing poker because a lot of you guys may know he's a champion poker player, who go figure as an investment guy, right? But one of his main jokes that you always hear him tell is that if you're playing poker with somebody and in 3 hands you don't see who the sucker is, you just stand up and leave the room because you're the sucker. But that's how it is when you're hunting teams. You got to understand that when you're talking to this big dog, he's got a whole bunch of confidants, a whole bunch of consiglières around him that he trusts them impeccably. Matter of fact, that's how he got to be so rich and powerful. He don't have time to think about all this little mealy-mouthed, menial, penny-ante stuff you're bringing to him right now. That means you've got to assess his team, and you've got to pick out who's the weak link. You've got to pick out who's the one that's about to hate on all of this. When a couple walk up to one of my stores, I will warn my employees, hey, you better talk to the one that's sitting there with their arms crossed. You better put something in their hand real quick, because in a minute they're going to be checking their watch and they're going to walk off because you ignore them. I don't care if the other one seems more interested. The power to know, the power to say no always trumps the power to say yes when you're talking about a big dog. When you're talking about somebody about to pull out their money, the person out there that has the power to say no is way more powerful than the one that's like, man, they don't care. They'll spend a little money on it. So you got to watch that. You got to hunt the team. Don't hunt the person. Trait number 6 is they always use playbooks. Guys, you can't tell me one team on any level. If you're talking about Little League, if you're talking about D1, if you're talking about professional sports, you cannot name me a team that does not use a playbook. So what's the playbook? It's nothing but a collection of systems and best practices to help you excel in your field. It's nothing but a collection of systems and processes. Take me, for instance. When you guys are buying my script, understand that you're dealing with a guy who's already generated easily over 7 figures using his scripts. Easily. Everybody that walked up to my stores, they will always hear the intro, the info, the joke, the grab, and the gratitude sandwich. Every single time. Intro, info, joke, grab, gratitude sandwich. Because that's how I would be able to duplicate myself so that even a caveman could do this. If you guys seen Wolf of Wall Street, you know what I mean. Every sale is the same. Every sale is the same. This ain't about tunnel vision. This is about funnel vision. Whether you coming in from the left, the right, the north, the south, we're all going to push you through this same funnel because every sale is the same. And the bottom line is people hate to be sold and they love to buy. So your whole thing has got to be helping them buy. You ain't forcing nothing. You're a servant, not a beggar. Trait number 7. Y'all, this might be the biggest one of all 7 of them. And I know a bunch of my homies feel me with what I'm about to say because we've had the conversation. Write this down, y'all. If you ain't write down nothing else I just said. You can't delegate growth. That's trait number 7 of the big sellers. They realize you can't delegate growth. Like one of my mentors talks about how you can't delegate push-ups. You can't delegate your meditation. You got to do certain things for yourself. I don't care how big you get. I don't care how ranked up you get. You can't delegate growth. One of my mentors tells me a story about being like 12 years old. He had a paper route he was taking over, right? And the guy that had the paper route first had 32 houses. Now, my mentor is kind of like older and whatnot, so 32 houses, that was probably getting a pretty penny for that dude who he was taking over. So his first night on the route, again, remember he's 12, he asked the guy, because they made a right on this one street, and then all of a sudden they see this whole other row of houses. And, they're ending off the day, and he asked the guy, he says, man, who serves all these houses? Who brings them the paper? And his big homie in the paper route business, he's like, I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't even know if they get the paper. And then they get to the 32nd house, and he walks in because that's where he lives. Instantly, that taught my mentor something special, right? It showed my mentor, they're like, hey, it ain't the market. It's that this guy has hit some sort of inertia level. He's obviously making all he needs to make off the 32 houses. He has no more hunger. Guys, I want you to write this down. If you show me a man's comfort zone, I'll show you their lifestyle. Can you dig that? If you show me a man's comfort zone, I'll show you his lifestyle. So what he did was he went back to the paper that night, and he asked them, hey, can you put 10 more free papers on my pile? I'm going to get busy tomorrow. Do you know a year later, my mentor had 275 houses, 275 customers from 32. Now, this is what you need to know about my mentor. He's worked in 80 different industries, this particular mentor of mine, because I have quite a few. He's worked in 80 different industries, and what he tells me is that he's never been in an industry. He's never worked with a company that he couldn't find that same example of, in their own way, there's that paper boy with 32 houses when there's 275 just there for the taking, just waiting for somebody to knock on the door. Guys, it's time to put the pedal to the metal. You do not have the pedal to the floorboard. You are not going hard. There is no way that if you look yourself in the mirror and ask yourself, am I on 10? Am I on 9? Am I even on an 8? That you can answer in the affirmative. And that's why you're not selling as big as you could. Put the pedal to the floorboard, y'all. Because it's one thing to have 32 houses. And for you, 32 houses might be $50,000 a year. For you, 32 houses might be a F3 ranking. It's time for you to do a self-assessment, though. Because if you want to be a big seller, it's going to take you mashing out. All right, so with that said, let's take it on to another guy who was a huge seller. There's a guy named Rico McDaniel, you know. He does these seminars, all around. Hey, when guys like that do a seminar, it's a big day for them. If they do 20, 30,000 in the back of the room, you know, they'll sell the boot camp this, they'll sell you another training that is, they'll sell you stuff, right? Big day if they do $10, $20, $30,000 in the back of the room off their CDs, their videos, all of that. Steve Jobs would finish his speech and he would do billions. He would do billions. As a matter of fact, you don't even call Steve Jobs a salesman. What do you call him? A genius? A luminary? An innovator? Right? You see what a good sales job he's been doing? So what are 5 of his secrets? 5 secrets from Steve Jobs, 5 of his sales strategy secrets that are sure to boost your business, no matter what business you're in. Secret number 1, Apple always concentrates on value, not cost. You never see Apple competing on value, do you? I'm sorry, you never see Apple competing on cost, do you? They ain't worried about whether you feel like their laptops are the cheapest or whether their iPhone is the cheapest on the market, right? No, because they ain't competing on the cost of it. But how many of y'all are quick to say, oh, yeah, it's only $99, you know, and then you're going to mix it? Nah, how about you explain it's a $99 overhead cost to run their independent business? How about you break it down for them that this is a value? We're not looking to be cheap. We're not looking to be somebody's cheap way to $1 million, because if they're looking like that, they're going to lose. Compete on value, not cost. Secret number 2 from Steve Jobs. People don't know what they need until you show them. Can you dig that? People have no idea what they need until you show them what they need. Did you know you needed an iPhone? No. Has it changed your life? Absolutely. What about an iPad? Did you know you needed an iPad? No. Has it changed your life? No, it hasn't. But whatever. That's a whole other subject, how an iPad is a big waste of money. But whatever. That's the point here. Steve Jobs is an incredible salesman. He's got y'all walking around with a huge phone, except they can't make calls. Whatever, though. That's part of his secret strategy, that people don't know what they need till you show them. Secret number 3, make your presentation great. That brings us to our book of the week, right? Everybody write this down. Presentation Secrets of Steve Jobs. Carmine Galloway. Presentation Secrets of Steve Jobs by Carmine Galloway. Let me tell you something. There are 2 ancient orators that everybody gives super props to. There's one dude named Cicero. He was a Greek. And there's another dude named Demosthenes. He was a Roman, right? And what they always used to say when Cicero would get finished talking is everybody would just be in awe. They would be like, OMG, this dude, what an amazing speech. What a brilliant speech. This dude talks so well, right? But then when Demosthenes would speak, the people would say, let us march. But what you need to know about Steve Jobs is that he was way more Demosthenes than Cicero. When Steve Jobs would get finished, the people would say, let us buy. And like I said, he would sell billions after one of his presentations. What can you do to make your presentation a lot iller? I'll give you one secret that I gave y'all about 4 conference calls ago. Stop selling on the benefits and stop selling on the features and start selling on the benefits. Stop selling on the features and start selling on the benefits. Those of you that listen to our opportunity calls or you let Millionaire Minded present for you, you know how I always present One Finance. I start talking about how wealthy people don't see a $100 bill, they see an $80 bill. What does that mean? They always pay themselves first. What does that mean? Put your name first as the number 1 bill in One Finance. Then when you're out at the restaurant and you swipe your credit card, you get an email saying, oh, you're about to break your food budget. Well, you're the one that said you wanted to save $200 out every 1,000. Well, you can't eat out this much. You see how I just talked to you about the benefits, not the features? Yeah, it's called One Finance, and you can plug in your income, you can plug in your debt. Those are features. What is the benefit? What is the benefit? Make your presentation great. That's secret number 3. Secret number 4 is create a buying experience. Have you ever walked in an Apple store? I got an even better question for you. Have you ever walked in an empty Apple store? No, you haven't, unless you manage one and you was the first one there. If you are a customer like the rest of us, you've never been in there and seen less than 25, 50 people in there at once. It's insane, especially when you consider this is supposedly a mediocre economy and they are way overpriced. But the dude creates a buying experience. You know, I'm talking about him like he's still here. Ain't that cold? When you're an innovator, you become an immortal. I'm talking about him in the present tense. Secret number 5 is don't fear failure. Now, y'all know I say that every week. You got to stop fearing failure. Apple ain't known for its failures, right? But there were so many of them. Let's run through a few, right? The Apple III, the 20th anniversary Macintosh, Macintosh TV, the Power Mac G4 Cube, AppleWorks, Apple Bandai Pippin, the iPod YouTube Special Edition. Who remembers that? The 300 portable eMac, right? The Newton, the Lisa. But guys, gals, failing first, failing fast, and failing often is the only way you hit success. Each one of those, if you were to ask Steve Jobs, he could explain to you how it led to something huge for him. It led to something huge. But not if you would have stood there just aiming the whole time. Ready, aim, 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 ready, 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 aim. Now, I understand that sometimes it's more fun to get ready and to aim. Read one more book. Watch one more YouTube video before you make that phone call to that big dog. Oh, let me have one more conversation with one of my teammates. Let me vent. Let me do a quick complaint session to him, since I don't be listening to Haziq and how he says, keep your conversation limited to EIE convo. Which again, EIE convo stands for what? Encourage, incentivize, or educate. But some of y'all don't listen, so y'all be talking on the phone with your partner then, and you be like, man, yeah, it sucks, man. Can you believe this? Blah, 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 blah. And you join right in with him. Instead of, no, I don't suck, man. You learned a lot from that. Let's look at it. Would you have learned this much if they would have just signed up the first sentence you said? So maybe you actually won from them being such a jerk with you. But if you're not there to encourage them past that, you're not being no leader. But you can't fear failure, guys. This is what you need to understand, too, about getting people on these calls and sending them books and YouTube videos to view. Sometimes that is the best way to deal with one of your teammates. Because if we just tell them, go recruit, go recruit, go recruit, we're having no empathy for the fact that they just now got slapped around by about 20 no's last week. They're bleeding. Your people are out there bleeding. So sometimes it's more fun to say, hey, let's get on Haziq's call. Let's get on this millionaire-minded call every Wednesday at 5:15. And some of you guys know because we chopped it up about it. But, hey, what are you doing to incentivize these calls? What are you doing to say, ask them a couple questions like, okay, which one of you guys, I know all 8 of my team was on that call. whoever text messaged me the 5 sales secrets to Steve Jobs, they get an AMC Movie Watchers card. Right? They get a gift certificate to Macy's, right? Whoever sends me I bet you the next week they're going to listen a little bit harder because now you've incentivized their move. Now you're creating a culture. And once you create a culture and you start adding some incentives to it, now you got a movement, y'all. Okay, so now we're going to get into another one that is no less important than the rest of these because, like I said, as we all know, winners talk to themselves. We use things like affirmations. We write down statements. We write it and make it plain so God can do his thing, right? And then when we got a spare moment, we talking ourselves up on it. One of my buddies is in a group called Rock City. They wrote Man Down for Rihanna. They wrote, Miley Cyrus, all of that. A lot of you guys know that my background is in the entertainment industry. Y'all know my Pandora station is Haziq Ali, the same as my name. But one of my buddies was telling me about how when he's about to walk into the studio, he goes into this little shadow boxing thing, and he starts telling himself, you the greatest. You know what I mean, man, ain't nobody colder than you. Can't nobody write no songs like you, baby. You know what I mean? And he starts shadow boxing, just talking himself into being a champion. So, Sadiq, you there? If you're there, make sure you push *6 to unmute yourself. Same as last week. Sadiq, are you there?
I'm sorry, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, right on.
All right, y'all give it up. Y'all give it up for my brother, Mr. Millionaire Manners. This dude's like the youngest GM in Target history. If y'all don't know him, he's also one of our brethren in my particular company. But he's also like the youngest GM in Target history. He's now an adjunct professor at a couple schools. Super dope dude. You know what I mean? I love him to death. What you got to tell us about these self-talk techniques? I was real excited when you told me what your subject was going to be this week, man.
Respect. And I'll be quick, too. Again, just I'm looking at the time right now, but we got 5 self-talk techniques, and then we got a couple of tips to help implement them. But, again, before we go any further, if I can just shout out, because, again, I know there's going to be some folks who want to say the same come time for Q&A, but those 7 steps, guys, to big sales were absolutely amazing because whether or not you're in network marketing or, you're in retail, every single thing that you do on a day-to-day basis revolves around you selling. So for me, knowing what I do, in addition, I do a bunch of different things, but selling, like, that was powerful. So I was going to just echo a couple of those things real quick before I jump into the 5 self-talk techniques. But on number 5, of those big sales steps, when you talked about hunting for teams and not individuals to make sure that you're addressing the weak link, just so we backtrack one more time the last week, that was that was you saying to engage everyone. Am I right? Back to that simple word. Yet again, we talked about that as well for the last couple of weeks. How to engage, or how you engage rather, is the link really between building a solid relationship, as we talk about network, etc., and the difference in losing out on lots of cool people. So engagement. And then on number 7, it's so funny. I used to say something to my teams all the time as well when I do different, again, lectures or seminars or whatever. But you said that you can't delegate growth. But another way to say that, and if you guys feel this, then write it down as well. But another way to say that is that you can delegate authority, but never responsibility. You can delegate authority, but never responsibility. So you can say yes or no for you, but ultimately, if it's your thing, when that yes or no doesn't turn out too hot, it's still on you. So that's why it's kind of back to the whole duplication piece once again, and making sure that we can be as in many places as we can, because again, ultimately, it's our responsibility. So the other person, it ain't their thing. They never gonna care like you care. So you got to own your own thing. So I just thought that was really powerful, man. So now, real quick, for those 5 self-talk techniques. So number 1, and these are going to be in the format, again, of just wanting you guys to reflect for a little bit, and then, again, we're going to talk about some tips to implement them. But number 1, 5 self-talk techniques, right, is silent self-talk. Number 1, silent self-talk, a.k.a. talking to yourself silently in your own mind. Now, these are kind of going in least effective all the way up to most effective, and we'll get to them as we. But number one is silent self-talk. That's talking to you silently in your own mind, talking to yourself. And this is the easiest one to use. It's a really, really good place to start. And most of the time, it usually just happens. So while we're walking, you might see something, and you might say to yourself, you know what, that's pretty cool. You know, I can do that, or I've done that before. So that's some silent self-talk. Or it might be something like, man, that looks really tough. And you'll be saying this to yourself. So, and of course, it goes both ways, everything that I'm saying. Silent self-talk also usually happens on a subconscious or an unaware level. So it usually happens without really us having to give ourselves any direction. It's usually just happen. And again, i.e., man, I can do this, or this isn't that hard. And it's usually for, again, after you think for a second about the situation, that silent self-talk will just come in. So silent self-talk is still very powerful. So that's number one, silent self-talk. Number two is self-speak. And self-speak is literally, that's the external talk that you have for yourself, or is the external things that you say to others about yourself. So when you're talking about, again, like let's say i.e., so this is, again, just bringing back something else that we talked about before. Let's say you're at a network event, and this is one that I personally use, and I didn't even realize what I was doing until very recently. But when I meet somebody, I might say, hey, how are you, or good to see you. And then I'll say something if I've seen that person before, because in Baltimore, a.k.a. Smalltimore, is really not that big. So if you a lot of people before, if you've been out and about. So I'll say something like, man, I've seen you before somewhere, because I don't forget faces ever. I have a great memory. So what I did is just reinforce myself with some positive self-speak, right? But then
wow.
It's powerful.
That's nice. That's powerful.
So then sometimes I'll be out and about, and I've actually witnessed this, guy, so please don't let this be you in any environment, right? I'll meet somebody, and they'll say, you know, I have I guess, somewhat of a tough name, which, by the way, on Facebook is Haziq Ali. On Instagram, that's at Millionaire Manners, all right? But I've actually met people, and they'll say, oh, man, that's a tough name. I'm terrible with names. And all they do is just tell themselves the truth. And I'm just like, wow, great to meet you, too. And I just kind of move on to the next person. But, again, that self-speak is really, really powerful. So that's number two. Number three is self-conversation. Now, here's once again where some conventional wisdom has actually been wrong. You guys know how when you're talking to somebody, they say, oh, yeah, I talk to myself all the time. The key thing is just to never answer, because if you answer, quote, unquote, that means you're crazy, right? Wrong. Self-conversation is actually when some of those best ideas are hatched and when some of the best accountability takes place, because you're literally asking yourself not rhetorical questions, but actual questions that you're then going to force yourself to answer. So kind of to Haziq's point, why am I so fearful of this? And then as soon as you lay out those things, you're going to realize it ain't even really that serious. That action, as soon as I take care of one of them, everything else is going to fall into place via either action or what have you. But this method actually, again, here's the word again, of self-conversation actually does way more to engage ourselves internally. So we're talking about engagement yet again. And when you engage yourself, that means you're using lots of senses. Again, kind of back to the script. You're talking to yourself with a certain tone, with a certain intensity, etc. That all really only happens via self-speak. When again, you're asking yourself questions and you're answering them as well. So again, don't be scared. You can do this by yourself though, so that way when you're walking, nobody thinks that you really are cuckoo. But again, I have lots of conversations with myself out loud. And it works like a charm, I'll tell you. Number 4 is self-write. It's self-write. And this is literally you sitting and writing out what you want your future to be, right? So you can do this on cards or on a single sheet of paper. Haziq has mentioned before, I personally carry around some of my goals written on an index card that I fold up and put in my wallet. So that way, multiple times a day, anytime I go into my wallet, I just pull it out and just peek at it real quick, just to make sure that I'm on track. And that's a side note, because if every single thing that you do every day isn't somewhere related to that to-do list or your master goal sheet, then you're probably losing. So that's just a side note. But again, self-write, that's you just writing down whatever it is that you want to accomplish on a card or a single sheet of paper. And then when you say them out loud, these are also known as affirmations. Anytime you say your goal out loud, what are you doing? You're affirming that goal to yourself, hence the word affirmation. Writing is also scientifically proven to kind of get, again, you more interested, more engaged, kind of get your juices flowing. And, of course, the more interested you are and the more engaged you are in your own thing, then the more energy flows to that thing and the more results you will have to show for that thing you're passionate about. So that's self-right. One more little bit of disclosure about me. Haziq has actually seen this when he's come to my house. On the mirror in my bedroom, I've taken one of those dry erase markers, and I encourage you guys to do the same, but write out a bunch of goals and affirmations. So that way, as you're checking, checking your fly in the morning before you roll, read out some of those affirmations out loud, right from that mirror, all part of self-talk. Then number 5, the last one we talk about is tape talk. And that's either using your voice or listening to the voice of others directly into your head, directly into your brain, directly into your mind. And it's actually one of the best tools for self-improvement. If you guys just saw a post that Haziq put up a couple of days ago, he put up an app called Khan Academy, which is just filled with so many goodies. It's amazing. So again, listen, Haziq and I are both music guys. Like, he's a former artist, and I'm a hip-hop connoisseur. Like, anybody, like, I can have a conversation with anybody about any artist in your area. Like, that's just kind of what I do. It's what I love. So long story short, I'm never, ever going to stop listening to music, but it's about balance, though. So I don't listen to music first thing in the morning. It's kind of my afternoon, kind of evening thing. But in the morning, I'm either listening to a book on my phone, or I'm listening to now one of these Academy speeches. So this morning, I got about halfway through the one from Elon Musk, who's the founder of PayPal, who's the founder of Tesla Motors, who's the founder of SpaceX, who they're launching rockets, people into space to go visit Mars and build hotels and orbiting the Earth. This is what Elon Musk is talking about. And we have one of his speeches, hour-long speech, right at our fingertips. As part of number 5, which is tape talk. It's easy to use. And again, you can listen while doing anything. And then one of the other greatest benefits of listening to tape talk is the fact that as you're listening to, again, a playback of the Millionaire Minded Call, Entrepreneur Mindset, et cetera, scientists, again, research has shown that the subconscious, right, picks up things at least 7 decibels below the conscious and the audible hearing. I'll say that again. The subconscious, right, picks up sounds, it picks up vibrations, et cetera, which are at least 7 decibels below what you can audibly pick up on. And what does that mean? That means you can actually turn the volume all the way down, right? As long as you can hear it a little bit. And sometimes you don't even have to hear it, right? It's still getting plugged into your mind. And when you run into a jam, right, you're going to be calling upon that experience that you didn't even know was there because you invested in just pumping your mind full of it. So that's the 5 self-talk techniques. I got some tips to implement them. Maybe I'll post those because it looks like we're running out of time. I want to do some Q&A, but I'll just recap these right now. But I got some really cool tips to implement these as well. But so self-talk technique number 1, silent self-talk. Silent self-talk. Number 2.
And you're going from least effective to most effective, guys.
Correct. Number 2 is self-speak. That's just telling you. That's telling you about telling about you to others, and that's telling you about you, right? Self-conversation is number 3. That's literally having a conversation with yourself, complete with question and, most importantly, answer, right? Number 4 is self-right. Take the time, right? You've heard this before. I know for a fact Haziq has said it before, but if you don't have your goals written down on paper, it's not going to happen. I don't even know who you are. It doesn't matter. It will never happen. And all the people that we just talked about, from Elon Musk to Steve Jobs to whoever, they've all had written goals. And then number 5 is tape talk, which is, again, just listening to positive people tell you that you can. The one thing I'll end with really quickly is one tip that I do want to make sure is crystal clear, is that do yourself a favor. And when you're talking to yourself, try to use the word you instead of I. For some reason, scientists have, again, pinpointed this is far more effective when you're saying you. And again, it has to do with how you change the self-image, which is via folks who you give authority to in your life. When they address you, they're saying you, not I. So there's something magical about that word you. And the more intensity and the more that you can get folks with authority to tell you how great you are, then the more effective it's going to be. So make sure you use you instead of I in your self-talk.
Man, that was great, man. I really appreciate that, Millionaire. So one little quick thing I'll add to that before we get to Q&A is just that, like, I've recorded mine over Baroque classical music. Maybe you want to use meditation music. It's up to you. I've got about 10 or 12 affirmations that I say really passionately, right? And it's recorded because, again, I'm an artist, so studio stuff kind of abounds for me. But some of you guys can do it right there on a voice recorder on your phone. You know what I mean? And the whole point is that if you record your own voice saying some of this stuff, then your mind is going to receive it a little bit. Like, hey, we know that voice. You know what I mean? And that makes it more powerful. So thanks a lot, Sadiq. And everybody follow him on Facebook, SADIQALI. I'm now at 5,000 friends. So what I'm going to do is start deleting certain people so that way I can still accept, you guys that sort of matter to me now, because you guys are who matter to me. There's a lot of other people that I'm about to purge. Word. All right, so if anybody has any questions about anything we discussed today or anything in the toolkit, now's your time. Always say your name, where you from, and how many people you put on the call. All you got to do is push *6, and you can unmute yourself. Do we have any questions this week?
Hey, Haziq, this is Rodney calling in from Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Rodney, what's up, Rod?
What's up, bud? Didn't have anybody on today, though. Nobody today, but that'll change next week. I'm working on that. I know, boo. Okay, I got me, myself, and I, so I got 2 other people. There you go.
Oh, no. That means you're good at self-talk.
There you go. I'm already starting, man. Quick question. You had made a statement earlier when you were talking about one of your mentors in the newspaper route, and I got that quote where you said, when you're talking about you can't duplicate growth, but then you also said, show me a man's worth. I think I just got it. Show me a man's comfort zone, and I'll show you his worth. Is that what it was?
You show me a man's comfort zone, and I'll show you his
lifestyle. Okay.
Yeah, that actually comes from a guy named T. Harv Eker, who wrote a book called Speed Wealth, where he basically outlined if you can't make it to $1 million in 3 years or less, you're doing something way wrong. So that book is called Speed Wealth. But yeah, if you look at your comfort zone, then you'll see your lifestyle. No doubt about it.
Okay, thank you very much, man. I appreciate that.
Man, no problem, Ron. Anybody else have any questions?
My name is Amari James from Marietta, Georgia.
Toolkit or any of the things we discussed today?
Yes, I have a question.
Okay, what's your name? Where you from? Who you put on the call?
My name is Amari James from Marietta, Georgia, and I didn't necessarily put anybody on this call, but it's a quick question.
Ooh, no, go ahead.
Next week, what was the name of that app that you said it was called Kind Academy, or?
Okay, that's Khan Academy. Do you follow me on Facebook or Instagram?
I'll follow you on Facebook.
All right, so yeah, if you look at the post yesterday, it's there and it's spelled out for you, but it's Khan Academy. K-A-H.
Okay, then.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I appreciate it.
No, it's all good, man. Thanks for being here, even if you was by yourself. But understand, the whole point of this is to create culture, y'all. Culture eats strategy for breakfast. That's on the wall in Ford headquarters in Detroit. And what it means is that a lot of times we spend a lot of time trying to fix things in our team, help this person, help that person, when all you got to do is create a culture. Your whole life will be different. And then what happens is great groups create great leaders, create great groups, create great leaders. But it's all from that culture. It's all from the culture. So you're messing up if you don't have nobody on the call right now that you can be like, all right, bro, so what you think he meant by them traits of big fellas? And then they're giving you what they felt. You're giving them what they felt. Now we're having fun. Now there's something that we're looking forward to every week. Now, even when Rodney kind of ain't into it, now even when Mike kind of ain't into it, the team is still plugged in. So that's the whole point, man. You want to work smart, not hard. So that's why you want to get people on the call. But okay, does anybody else have any questions?
Okay, my name is Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Just say ladies first, but y'all are both ladies. Y'all gotta
No,
fight
go
it
ahead.
out. I'm just playing. Okay.
Can you hear me?
Ladies first, though, bro. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm just going to go real quick. My name is Ernest. I'm from San Antonio, Texas. And I didn't put anybody on the call today, but I was telling my Tiana Williams. She's my mentor, Team One Way. And my question is, can you repeat number one of the 7 steps?
Number one of the 7 steps. Which 7 steps? Are you talking about the traits of big sellers, or are you talking about the toolkit?
The traits of big sellers. I'm sorry.
Okay. They start at the top and they stay there.
They start at the top.
They start at the top and stay there. A lot of times we're taught in common. I forgot the word my brother just now used, but that common knowledge. What was the word you used, D? It was some term he used for what the masses do. They always tell you, start at the bottom, work your way to the top.
Conventional wisdom.
Conventional wisdom says you start at the bottom. But as we know, conventional, it's average to be a loser, sort of. So what the winners do is they start at the top and stay at the top. So straight like that. That was number one.
Okay, thank you. I have another question real quick. Haziq, I sent you a email for those, I'm sorry, let me get the correct name. That's the one.
For the toolkit, for the Millionaire Minded tool?
Right, for the toolkit.
Okay, yeah.
You
can pick any 5 you want. No, go ahead.
No, I didn't receive a response back from you, so I'm just trying to find out what I need to do to get them.
Oh, maybe you emailed the wrong email, but my name is Haziq. They do be mad. Like, my aunt was just laughing at me at this family reunion we had this weekend because I got like 33,000 emails. She was like, you just need to take the number notation off your phone. And I was like, yeah, but it's kind of fun. It's like, let's see how, but at any rate.
It's HAZIQALI, right?
Mm-hmm. And then that's the same as my PayPal, everybody. And $7, whichever one you want, or you can pick any 5 for $25. You can get all 7 for $39, and you just PayPal it. And then we know that you guys are going to spread the tools around to your team. But whoever personally comes to us for them, that's who gets to personally consult with us. That's who gets to personally have us. And like I said, it's not like I'm some network marketing guru. What I am is a born entrepreneur. What me and my brother are the types of people that are just generations into this entrepreneur stuff. Our 5 great-grandfathers who invented the light bulb, that little filament in the light bulb, the dude Lewis Latimer. So it's like ever since then, we've been kind of doing our thing. So that's why we're good. It's not that I got a bunch of network marketing experience. It's that I just got a bunch of entrepreneurship experience. So all our scripts work, the tools work, and all we ask is that after you order the stuff from us, you give us the testimonials. Because when me and my brother start traveling around training, we're going to be pulling these out on the PowerPoints because we want to be able to prove to people our training ain't about making you feel good. Our training is about making you do good. And there's a lot of people that go to these other trainings, and what you see is a bunch of testimonials. They'll be like, man, you just had to be here. And then you ask them what rank they are now, and they're the same rank or they're even lower rank. And that's the problem. So what we want to do is rank people up. But go ahead.
Right, I want to rank up. Thank you.
Well, I think the other point too is it'll make you do good, which will eventually make you feel good all over again.
Great point.
Hello?
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
What's your question? Yeah, we hear you.
Okay, so I'm Joseph Franklin. I'm actually on the call from Houston, Texas, from my man Shakaris Thomas, and you know I really wanted to know, since I am new to the situation, I really want to know what is the Facebook that I can get, you know, that app, because I need to start doing that as far as the affirmations and listening to those kind of things, putting that more in my head and some of the other things. And, you know, I don't know what the Facebook is to go to or the Twitter.
Okay, Millionaire Manners. Hit up Millionaire Manners. And you'll find that Facebook page. That's also the Instagram, Millionaire Manners.
Okay.
And that's gonna put you on point with mad affirmations. And then another thing that you want to do is just go through the archives of these calls, because every single call. One of the brothers, I think my man Sean, he hit me up today like, man, what are some more books I can look at? He had just watched Men Who Built America. And we talked about on like call number 20, which is a DVD series that actually my brother put me onto, that I told all the Millionaire Minded about. he fell in love with it. He was like, this is all the kind of stuff I want to watch, nothing but stuff about entrepreneurs. And I reminded him, this is call number 27, as in there are 26 different pieces of information we put out there so far. Today we put out number 27 and number 28, but there's plenty to keep you busy till next week.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, well I look
forward to it. My Facebook page is Haziq Ali, and then the other one is Millionaire Manners, my brother Sadiq.
MANOR or MANNER?
Millionaire Manners, like MANNERS.
See, I got you, like behavior, man. Okay. All right, like cool, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem, man. Thanks for being here.
My man.
I have a question.
Okay, what's your name and where you from?
Dee Dee from D.C.
What up, Dee Dee?
What's up, Haziq? All right, so I wanted to see if Sadiq can recap for me real fast. The last thing he said was you should use you instead of I. I've been doing it wrong all my life then, apparently. So
well,
if he
again,
could just...
he was talking about something different. He wasn't talking about affirmations. I am is definitely one of those most powerful phrases in the whole language. It's funny, I wanted to add this caveat when he got finished, but there is still something to be said for what he's talking about, which is when you're recording these things and tape, and then you're talking to yourself, what he's referencing is the fact that subconsciously you're used to receiving authority from somebody who's, they're referring to you like you this and you that. You
I got you
take
now.
advantage of that. Mm-hmm. Great
point.
Thank you. I'm so glad you asked so we can make that distinction. Mm-hmm. Okay, so if nobody has any other, that's everybody, right?
Hello?
Hello.
Yes, this is Daniel Ellis in Seattle.
Hey, Daniel.
How
many people you put on the call, Daniel?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
How many people did you put on the call today?
Oh, you want to boo me too, huh?
Man, y'all tripping. All right. And then even
the reason I was calling was kind of tied into that. Is that I just wanted to affirm the playback number on this call.
Okay, we'll post it in a minute. Do you already follow me on Facebook? Are we already friends?
Yeah, I got 641-715-3413.
I'm not sure. I'm not looking at it right now, but we'll put it up in a minute with the contest details. Every week we do a contest. If you post a jewel from the call that gets the most likes, you get the tool of your choice for free, or some weeks we do a book of the week you get for free. So we just do different contests to get it. So when we post that contest announcement, it'll have the replay number. It'll have all kinds of good stuff.
Okay, great then. Enjoyed the call so much information. We'll definitely get my team on the playback and on the phone next week.
Oh man, that's music to the ears. So we weren't giving too much in one call though, were we?
You never can get too much.
I heard that. Okay, I heard a lady that had a question too.
All right, this is Latita Horn from Pensacola, Florida, and boo. But I mean, I can't put a gun to their head and make them get on the call. But I mean, I've been telling people to listen to playbacks. They still haven't listened, but I don't want to put too much on them. But anyways, I was just calling because I was just wanted to tell you about my mindset tools. I just want to let you know that I hit you up about that, and I was just wanting some information. I guess the same girl had already asked a question. I guess that's why I'm stumbling on it. But don't forget me on my mindset tools as well. I was just calling to let you know.
Yeah, like I'll just make sure that whenever in a paper, and this is for everybody on the call, whenever you PayPal her, make sure you put in the note the email you want it sent to, because if not, we're just sending it to the email you PayPal. But it's like we'll get that rocket, Latita. But check the email you PayPal from, and I bet it's.
I sent it to the haziqali@gmail.com.
But
I searched it through.
From,
sir?
Whatever email address you PayPal from is the email address that we would send the material to. So just double check that, and if not, then we'll get cracking in a minute when we hang up.
I got you. I'm just not hip on the email, so I probably just need to check my email.
All right.
I'm sorry, I'm changing my lifestyle. I never was worried about doing email, but, since I have become interested in network marketing, I'm seeing that it's important.
Oh man, it's you sound like me. I could care less about a lot of these tools until they become important to me. But that's called growth. That's all.
Exactly.
Okay, y'all. So let's take 2 more questions. No problem, Latita. We'll talk soon.
I had a question. Aloha from
Hawaii.
Hawaii.
Aloha. When do I say aloha and when do I say mahalo?
Either one. Well, mahalo is usually when you say you're welcome, or thank you.
Okay, dope.
Yeah,
okay,
aloha.
So
my name is Salea. Unfortunately, boo. I didn't bring anyone on the call either.
Boo! Boo! I'm gonna start unmuting everybody so everybody can move.
There's a lot of boos on this call today.
Oh no. Well, like in the beginning of the call, you were talking about like the different like the pages you could print out if you're pretty much talking about the different our team, we have like a welcome package and all that stuff, and I know you're talking about the different packages with the Millionaire Mindset team. Is there where
Millionaire Minded? Everybody
that?
says Millionaire Mindset. We do mindset calls, but this is Millionaire Minded.
Millionaire Minded. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Because you're in Millionaire Minded, even though you might be on Legendary Life, you're still in Millionaire Minded because you're on this call. Millionaire Minded is a collection of all the best people from all the best teams. That's all it is.
Oh, nice. Sweet. So where would I have access to like those packages you were talking about in the beginning of the call? Like if you were trying to get someone to the event or, trying to approach those you've already approached, the ones you were talking about in the beginning?
Mm-hmm. So just email me or holler at me on Facebook. It's Haziq Ali at Gmail, and it's 7 different tools that make up the toolkit, and it's just $7 each, or you can get 5 of them for $25. And we know that people are going to give it out to the rest of their team, but just let any special team members know. If you know you're going to want some help coaching that team member, send them to us themselves. That way they can get indoctrinated in the culture, and they can consult with us, not just you. Because if they're not in the file for us, then we're not going to talk to them about the tools like we'll talk to you about it. And then you'll have to go and refer everything back to your team and try to take notes while we're talking, versus they could be relating to us themselves, and $7 is worth that. I mean, come on. Like Daryl Watson always says, you can't cheat your way to the top, and you can't cheat your way to the top. So
all right, mahalo, thank you.
Mahalo.
Hello?
Yes, sir. What's your name? Where you from? And how many people you put on the call?
My name is Roger. I'm from Rochester, New York. I put 23 people on the call.
Go ahead, Roger.
Way to go. What's the crap?
Roger that.
That's what's up. Yeah.
Haziq, you already know what time it is. Hey, I need to get number 2 and number 5 out of that 7. I already got the rest, so I'll be sending you a email to handle that in a minute. But I just want to thank you, man, for this toolkit. These forums gave me so much more clarity, and really how that tonality is so important when you're conversing with another person. So thank you again on that.
Oh, it's so important, man. And I don't know what my favorite is of the tools, but I think what's battling for the first is those scripts, like you said, with the tonality, or it's that mindset form. Because, my God, when you get finished with one of those interviews with people and you're asking them these questions like, how much you want to be making in the next 6 months? Do you understand what a unique conversation that is? I can't have that conversation with a coworker in no other arena because it looks like it's sarcasm. If I ask my coworker at Walmart, how much you want to be making in 6 months, dog? They're going to be like, $1 more an hour, fool, right? or if you're asking one of your entrepreneur friends, man, how much you trying to be making in 6 months? They can't answer either because they're in it for the what? Passion. But in this world, I can ask you how much you want to be making in 6 months. You can tell me you want to add $60,000 a year to your salary every year, and it could be completely realistic. This is a wonderful world, y'all. But these are the types of conversations that Friday Forum sparks that you've never had with your friends and family before. It's absolutely amazing. So I love that Friday Forum, and then I love the script. But I'm glad, man. Yeah, so we'll talk to you soon. Does anybody else have questions?
Hey, Haziq.
Hello?
Yes. What's your name,
hey,
where
man.
you from, and how many people you put on the call?
Man, my name is Swiss. I'm from Louisville, Kentucky. Shout out to the Rich Crew out here. I really don't know how many people's on the call. Yeah, Rich Crew, but I'll let everybody know about it, so I hope a lot of people's on this call right now.
Right on.
I
know
just wanted to
Terry
ask.
was holding it down.
For sure. But check this out. So there was a guy, he had asked you about the newspaper guy. So that was your mentor. Now, you were saying something about a book, but I heard a lot of stuff in the background. I don't think that we're going to be able to hear that clearly on the recording. So could you say that book again for me, please?
Are you talking about Presentation Secrets of Steve Jobs by Carmine Galloway?
That may be it. You were talking about the gentleman that was your mentor. Is that the book that you were speaking of?
Well, I didn't talk about a book when I was talking about the mentor. I talked about, Steve Jobs is definitely somebody that I look up to as well. But the book of the week is Presentation Secrets of Steve Jobs by Carmine Galloway.
All right,
incredible
cool, man.
book. Incredible book.
All right, man. Hey, thank you for doing these calls. Thank you for creating this culture. I know that everybody loves it. I love it. So shout out to you for that.
Man, I really appreciate it. We're humbled by it, and all we want to do is keep this window of opportunity open as long as possible. And all we're trying to do is keep as many quality business owners out there, keeping them from messing up, posting unsubstantiated income claims, unsubstantiated product claims, making people get all antsy. You know what I mean? That's why accounts are starting to be terminated, y'all. We got to tighten up. Plug your team into the culture. Plug your team into the culture. Plug your team into the culture. All right, we're going to take 2 more questions, and then we out of here, y'all.
Okay.
Hello?
Hey, can you hear me? Hello?
Okay, yes, ma'am. Ladies first, and then the fella. Okay.
My name is Angelica, and I am from Louisville, Kentucky. I didn't really have a question, but I heard my upline Swiss on the line. She didn't really know how many people she had on the call, so I just wanted her to know I was on the call, and I got my number.
That's what's up. Shout out to you, man.
That's right. Shout out to you. I heard a G just now speak up.
Yeah, hello?
This will be our last question. Yeah, what's up, man?
Yeah, I've been trying to get on there for about 20 minutes. But,
right.
yeah.
What's your name? Where you from? How many people you put on the call?
I have, my name is Arthur, and I'm from Houston, Texas. And I have myself on the call.
Boo! No, go ahead.
Hey! I put him on the call, bro. This Sean.
Yeah, I'm a loner, so whatever. I have a really, really simple question, and I have 2. My first question is, what does the word delegate mean, and what does the quote mean? You can't delegate growth.
Oh, okay. So delegate is when you give out a job to someone else to do. So, one thing you want to keep in mind is that, like, for instance, if you don't have an assistant, you are an assistant, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so when it comes time to delegate things that ain't in your paycheck, like, for instance, if I'm a millionaire, do I have time to cut my own grass? Is that worth my time? Or should those 3 hours of my time be put into building another $1 million business so I can help save that many more children, help employ that many more mothers and fathers? Where is my time most efficiently spent? So billionaires only do what billionaires only do what only they can do, right? So everything else you delegate. But one thing you can't delegate, one thing you can't give out to somebody else to do is grow your business. And my brother put it even more beautifully when he was like, you can delegate authority as in, hey, I want you to take care of this project. But you can't delegate responsibility. As in, if that project fails, I still lose. It's still a problem for me. So delegate is to give the work out, and you cannot give the work out of growth to someone else. You cannot delegate your own push-ups.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Okay, y'all. Well, that's going to do it for this call. This joint went over a little bit, but I hope everybody got something out of it. And, millionaires, live long and prosper. Stay coachable, stay committed, stay consistent, keep the culture going. And we'll see y'all next Wednesday, 5:15 p.m.
Peace.
Right. Way to go.
Free your friends list.